This challenge is all about improving performance, driving innovation, and achieving business goals. The participants will go through a series of training during the boot camp. The Startup Hustle by Violet, founder, Skin Gourmet.
They want me to speak about how you can start a business. But is that question okay for you, or do you want to tailor it a bit more?
The New Money Maker by Wisdom, Men's Cook.
If a client walks up to us and he said, "Oh, I want you people to I want to book you people for a wedding," the first question we'll ask you is, what kind of guests are you expecting?
Public Speaking Basics by Day Awuku, MC, Public Speaking Coach. All About the Money by Kosi, Manager, Partnerships, Innovation and Commercial, BTL Africa.
One thing that's really difficult for most people is you want to start, but your business will most likely not be able to support you. You may have to pay salaries, you have to register for tax, you have to buy raw materials. It's usually good, in my experience, to have something to cushion you. Not just for the financial aspect of it, but also for the responsibility part.
So my question is, what's your general rule of thumb for narrowing down your target audience or your target customer?
Okay, so I met them, right? It's interesting. I knew what I wanted to do. When I went to market, I saw them, right? But another really great tool is social media. Because when you use social media, you're able to tell who's clicking on your links, who's interested in what it is that you are promoting. So one thing I wish I had invested in earlier, I think because me, I'm just kind of a dreamer and very impulsive, like I told you, I don't do research, is data. Like, data is extremely important. So if, for example, social media and also having good records, right? So if someone's going to market, you know the type, you have to know, I think they say it's in banking, KYC, know your customer. You will know who's patronizing you, and therefore you kind of build and adapt it around that person to solve their issues. That's sort of how I worked it out.
So I'm happy that you said you have to invest in your people, your suppliers, and then your workers and the matter team. So today I've actually learned a lot. So I'm sure I'll just change my mind as to what I'm going to do with scaling, maybe just balance both ends. But then I'm sure that at the end of the day, I'll figure it out. That's the most important.
I'm glad that you got that from it, and I would say to you that what you just said, it took me 9 years. Like, what I'm telling is fresh, okay? But like, if you don't pay your employees on time, whatever brand guide you have, there's no. It's just, I mean, I made excuses for it. Oh, I can't do it, but they know I'll do it. You know, usually, but you can't. Like, that's one of the problems that we're having in Ghana is simple going by your word. So sometimes, like when you have to pay employees, I stop everything. I'm not even buying raw materials. This has to go. Once that goes, then you make sure that your creditors are also fine. And what you find is, when you always pay your creditors on time, if you can't and you call them and tell them, Charlie, I need 1 month, oh, no problem. Because they can trust you. And also you find that the business runs better when you put the money back in.
In order for us to be able to do our setup to sync, to dress accordingly, even the menu, sometimes when people come, maybe I'm having dinner, I want to do dinner for 50 people, I want this kind of food. But you look at the kind of food the person is asking for. As a business person, and from your professional point of view, you have to let the person know that, oh, dinner there, looking at even your guests, they are over 50 years. They are maybe health conscious and all those things. So I would advise that, oh, we go with this menu. When you do that to the client knows that, oh, you have my interest at heart. So the person will trust you. And whatever you want the person to do to support you, to be able to bring that to life, the person will go the extra mile to do that for you.
I just wanted to know, how do you prevent the client of any external people from influencing your innovation? So for example, the kitchen you mentioned, how do you prevent, maybe if you float the idea to that client and he says, it's weird, people don't do that.
Okay.
Why should I allow you to do that?
Okay.
How do you prevent that influence that, okay, I know it's weird, I know it's not normally done, but I would like to try it and see if you'd be interested in it. I need that trust me that I'm going to give you something that has not been done before.
Okay.
I just want
How do you do that?
Yeah.
Of course, for us, we are in the service sector. So, and I know by extension for every business, your customer is the most important thing. You satisfy your customer. That is the key. But if you, especially those of you who are in the creative space, like the graphic designers and the photographers and the videographer, sometimes you also want to satisfy yourself as a creative or as an innovator. So what you do is you have to have a conversation with the client. You have to let the client understand that, oh, this is what is done.
Today, we are going to go through these things. By the time we are done with this particular session, you would have been more self-aware. That means that you are going to learn stuff about yourself that you didn't know before today, right? Number 2, you are going to overcome your fears and anxiety in terms of public speaking, because I do realize that for some people, regardless of what you say, they are still going to be anxious. It will not change anything. As for you, I can't help you. Whenever you go into an audience, always think of it this way. Everybody who is seated has a wall up. Your engagement or how you open breaks down those walls. Public speaking and storytelling are the same. What you just did here, someone started with an introduction. There was a story. It was building up. In storytelling, we call it a rising action. Introduction, rising action. So what you were saying was building up towards something. We got to the middle, something was said. That was the climax, or that's where it reached, right? And then, after the something was said, there was a falling action. So a falling action is always between the climax and the conclusion, because the falling action is leading you to the conclusion.
Always concentrate on what you're offering, because people are not buying your goods, they are buying value. Okay, people are not buying your goods, they are buying value. And the more value you offer, people always want to pay less for great value. It's just people being logical. So always transfer the power to yourself by always communicating value. All the time, communicate value. If you communicate value, you don't have to plead with anybody at any point in your life. So if I was selling juices like yourself, I would always hammer on the fact that it's healthy. If you don't want to die early drinking, no, I mean that's too harsh. It's healthy, it has vitamins, it's cheaper for you, and you derive a lot more benefits from it than your usual Califo and stuff. So by virtue of that, you know what? For a healthier lifestyle, I can offer you juice for just this amount of money. So at that point in time, the person is not thinking about how much you're even selling the juice. They are more concentrated on the healthier lifestyle, the nutrients, the vitamins and all of that. You're going to say something?
When you are pitching your ideas to people, you get to listen to their problems. Know that there's someone that, even if the person says that I can't even afford juice, but if you give the money to them, for them to even buy, they'll still not buy.
If you communicate value enough, trust me, per my experience, price does not matter. Key thing is people want to understand that what am I getting? It's always what is in it for me. It's what you highlight that wins all the time. So the value conversation is very, very essential in anything and everything that you want to sell. And make sure that you are very, very graphic about it. It's very essential. So always remember the balance of power rule. Always make sure you tilt the power to yourself, so that you are always the one on the side of the one offering all the time. If you don't tilt the power to your side, you end up pleading. And a lot of the time, if you realize, the one selling always has something great to offer, but because they don't understand the value of what they are offering, that's why they end up pleading.
Watch out for the next episode of the Hands On Show.